Welcome to our channel. Today, I'm asking the question, is this really the world of parts we're living in these days? We have this Jeep. It's a 09 Wrangler 3.8. Customer complaint, engine blew. So we put an engine in it. We had confirmed it for sure. Was making a really bad knocking noise before we put the new one in. So my technician just got done with this job today. Been working on it for 3 days now. Got it in, put everything back together, started it up. Pretty bad knocking noise from first crank. Everything was lubricated, checked before assembling. There was like an oil pump, like spring that you had to assemble a certain way. That got done properly per the instructions from the engine rebuilder, which is ATK. It's one of the big engine rebuilders in this country. Let me show you what we found. So my tech says that sounds like something coming from the bottom end. Let me drain the oil. So he did that. Here's the oil that came out, a little bit metallic. And then he decided to pull the oil pan off because it just takes a minute. He grabbed a socket and jiggled the crank back and forth. One of the rods looked to be moving a little bit more than the rest. I believe that's cylinder number 5. You can see we've got the rod cap off because it moved so much that we thought maybe they put the wrong size bearing in. However, the rod came off just like this. And if you see those two little indentions there, that is where a bearing is supposed to sit. Now, then he pushed the upper half of the rod off the crank, and we have this half of a bearing, but no bottom half, completely missing. Not assembled. There is no way that this looks that good, that that's enough metal to create, if you were to put it all back together, one of these and this one not be damaged. I mean, we only ran it for like a minute or less, but that is exactly what happened. I just can't believe this. I know I say I don't get surprised, but this is a surprise. That's a super big surprise. I mean, brand new rebuild. It is just obnoxious. I mean, I want to put good parts in cars. That might have been a good part. Now it's not. So the options are put a whole nother reman engine in, which they didn't have in the first place because this one took like a week to get because they had to build a core. And then have my customer wait for like probably another 2 to 3 weeks. Then redo the whole job, which was I think 19 or 20 book hours. That's option 1. Option 2, which is the one we're going with, is there are part numbers. There's a part number on here. I'm going to match this and get a pair, so 2, throw this one in the trash. 2 of these, put it in there, use plastic gauge, which is like a little, looks like fishing line. Then you assemble it, squash it, make sure the clearances are right, and that you got the right bearing in there. And then we're going to reassemble the oil pan, put new oil, and see if the noise is completely gone. Obviously, half a bearing and a rod like clanking onto a crankshaft is gonna make a huge noise. So if we get the correct bearings in there and reassemble, we're gonna check the other ones too, make sure that they're installed. But we're gonna do this repair instead of having potential other issues with another rebuilt engine, because that's just what we'd be signing up for, is, you know, the possibility of other problems, not just rod bearings, but any other assembly issue. If we were to get a whole nother engine plus, then there's the 20 hours of labor that we just don't have shop time for. So this is the best course of action. I found already the company who makes this. I have to contact them tomorrow because it is late, and hopefully I can get them overnighted because today is Wednesday, so tomorrow, Thursday, get them overnighted for Friday. I was really hoping, and my customer wanted the Jeep back this week. That was the whole plan. I hope to still make that a possibility. There, and I dropped it on the floor, but that's okay because we're not using it. Anyway, that's what you get with rebuild quality. Nowadays, I guess that's pretty sorry. Another one that's out back is a third steering rack from Cardone, which is, I'm sorry, garbage. They're just garbage parts. Their rebuilding is terrible. Everyone knows. The only reason I'm using them is because it is a Oldsmobile from 1995, and that's the only thing available. The first rack leaked somewhere. This is the second rack in the car now. It leaks at a different place on the shaft on the driver's side that goes in and out, you know, connecting to your inner tie rod. The shaft has these gouges in it from where they must have clamped to assemble it, and every time it passes the seal, it's just like squirting power steering fluid out. We didn't know this, unfortunately, because it filled up one boot, and then there's a crossover tube to the other boot for like air to pass through, and then it filled up the second boot before during our test drive and on my customer's way home. And so yeah, that's a whole nother deal. But quality of rebuilt parts can be real good or real bad, and unfortunately we've got a couple here that are real bad. I've also got this 91 Cadillac out back. We don't normally work on 90s cars, but I've got this 91 Cadillac out back. We've done a whole bunch of work on it. Last thing was a radiator. This radiator is junk, and it is on back order. So my parts supply place cannot find a spare. I looked on Rock Auto, can't find, they're all out of stock. So that's another parts issue. So parts issues galore here. It's super fun to deal with these because then they turn out to be warranty. Then I gotta go back and forth between my parts supply places and sometimes the manufacturers, give them information, talk with my reps, make them happy, get them all what they need, file claims. It's pretty annoying, especially when I have other work that needs to be done because there's other appointments and we don't expect this to happen. So now my customer, the other one and the other one, they think, and I think it's natural, that most people think that it's the shop's fault when this kind of stuff happens. Not all the time. Parts quality, you get what you pay for. Unfortunately, with these three, there were no other options. And I hate to say it, but these companies, they're just not great at producing quality stuff. Well, I hope you enjoyed this very interesting Jeep engine swap story, and let's just keep moving on. Best thing to do is just fix it and keep going. Thank you for watching, and have a good night.